In this video, we're going to show you what the current status of the site is for the Champlain Towers South Condominium that collapsed in Florida. I went down there and got exclusive video recently, and we're going to show you certain important parts of the property and the 87 Park condominium next door, which was subject to the lawsuit. We're going to show you these parts that are crucial to the investigation to find the cause of this condominium collapse. Now, we also have a mystery for you to solve here on the Champlain Towers North. Shoring poles here on the balconies. Why didn't they run this load all the way down to the ground? Here is the first thing that you see when you arrive at the area of the condo collapse. The very first thing I did was I filmed this video of a very touching Surfside Wall of Hope and Memorial, the Surfside Tennis Center, directly across the street from the Champlain Towers South Condominium on the west side of Collins. This is directly across the street from the condo collapse. That's the Blue Hotel where the tourists took that famous video of the garage after the collapse. That's the Champlain Tower East building, and that is the Champlain Towers North building, what many people call the sister building to the Champlain Towers South building that collapsed. So here's what the site looks like on the day that I went down there on March 19th to shoot this video. Here, as we look through the chain link fence, you can see they're still dewatering, and that's their machinery right here, and their pump is going probably 24/7, and you can see right there it's snaking down into the ground. So they're pumping out water from underneath. And you see all of these orange poles along here? These were put up to shore the walls. The engineer city hired, Alan Kilsheimer, was concerned that cars driving by would cause these walls to collapse. That is what is left of the elevator and the vestibule that led down into the garage. So this whole section is the section of the building that survived the initial collapse. And then they brought in the engineering team to detonate and bring down the rest of this building on July 4th. And you can see the city has taken steps to really beautify this area here. They've put up a lot of nice looking lush greenery outside the fabric fence, and only the building next door is left standing, subject of the lawsuit. Cameras everywhere. And you can see here we're just, yards off of the beach. Hard to believe that this type of catastrophe happened right here by this beautiful paradise. And then of course there's trespassing signs all over the place. This is the gate to get into the property. Now when I stand here at the gate and try to peek in, there's really nothing I can see. Your best bet is to shoot through holes in the fabric along the fence if you want to get a view of what's happening down on the floor. And then right along here on the back of the property, it just leads to the beach. This right here is a jogging trail that runs all the way up Miami Beach. And then here we are on the beach side looking west. I'm glad they left these giant holes here in the fabric so that people could look without getting the urge to jump the fence. And then this is disappointing because they blocked off. This was that pathway. This is that famous pathway that leads between both the Champlain Towers South over here and the building next door, the one that survivors are suing for allegedly causing damage to the ground and hence causing the collapse. So I'm shooting through the fabric now, and what you can see is that this walkway is about an 8-foot wide walkway that connects the beach to Collins Avenue. And there's in the center of your screen, right there in the distance, there's the wall that runs alongside the pool. But right along that wall is where the police first arrived, shining their flashlight over the wall and looking down on the pool deck that was collapsed below.
Captain, hey, the Champlain Towers, the building, it collapsed. The back part of the building collapsed. I'm gonna need, I'm gonna have to contact Healy to get down here too.
And this is what the property looks like next to it, the 87 Park building that was built right next door. Yeah, so this is one of the nicer sections of the beach boardwalk that we call it, because they really did a good job with the paver bricks here. They really made it look classy. Now you see the security camera? This is at the southeasternmost end of the pool for 87 Park. And this is the camera that we think caught that now famous video of the Champlain Towers collapsing. It was right here and it just collapsed right there. So we believe that is the camera. It's the only one we can see that is pointed in that direction. So if you wanted a better perspective in the daytime, this is it. Camera's right there and it shot directly due north at the Champlain Towers building collapse. So there's the magic camera, folks. What I'm disappointed about is whoever supplied that video the night of the collapse was actually shooting off of a screen with their cell phone. I would like to get the full video in its full clarity to see what was really going on. And here's the view of the rest of the boardwalk that they're completing now. So you can see why people wanted to live here in Surfside, because this is $1 million view right here of the ocean. It doesn't get any better than this. Look at this beautiful water out here today. And so on the south side of the 87 Park Condo next to the Champlain Towers, they also have their own beach access. This is public, that leads up to the street as well. This is about 12 feet wide. And this is how the public visiting Surfside can get to the beach. And so during the whole time of the collapse and the subsequent rescue operations, all of the police and the fire department were parked all over here with the press. And they were giving their daily updates from there across the street diagonally. And then up there you could see the fence for where the Champlain Towers was. Here we are back on the Collins Avenue side again, right by the front entrance of the building. And the covered parking deck was right here. This is that sidewalk that the police initially came to. So you can see that that's the sidewalk that leads all the way up to the beach. And here again, I'm focusing in on that wall. That's the wall by the pool. That's where a lot of people think that the collapse started, right there along that wall, and then propagated north to the building, and then pulled down, beams and columns, initiating the collapse. That's one theory that some people have. So this is one area where the lawsuit was focused, because they were claiming that they damaged the wall right here when they were building the 87 Park right next door on the other side of this fabric fence.
Now, this beach access area between the two condominiums, which used to be known as 87th Terrace, is now the private walkway of the 87 Park condominium, and it is the most hotly contested piece of real estate right now in Dade County, because even in mid-April, the defendants were petitioning the court to get access to the wall there by the pool to do testing. But now with this $1.1 billion settlement that we talked about in our video the other day, all of this might be a moot point. No need to continue.
Here's another view of those shoring poles meant to hold up the wall along Collins Avenue. Now, as you look across to the hotel next door, another view from the south of all of that pumping equipment that they're using. Yeah, when you look at how big and thick these rebars are coming out of these columns, these were massive columns on this side. Remember, this was the healthy side of the building that withstood the collapse. And this is the west side of the building, the front entrance. So right where I'm standing is where we used to drive in. So the covered parking was over here, and the valet drive along the front was right here. Here's the Blue Hotel next door. The next building over is Champlain Towers East. Beyond that one, the next building up is Champlain Towers North, which you've seen me use in the past for the columns in the garage to prove which column fell first when this pool deck collapsed, as shot by the tourists that were staying in that Blue Hotel. So we're looking from west all the way to the east side. That's the pool over there in the center of the picture there. That's the hot tub right next to it, hanging down from the pool slab. Let's take a little zoom in and look at it. This is probably the clearest view we're going to get of it. So the hot tub and the pool survived how thick the concrete is there. People think that the collapse originated somewhere along that area near the wall, just to the right of it. Those are the areas that some people were looking at and focused on. So here's our best view we've seen yet of the elevator and vestibule. Right in the center of the screen, that's the doorway where the stairs was. That is where Ileana escaped with her life, out that door and into the rubble of the parking garage and the parking deck above it that had collapsed. When she opened that door, came down the bottom of the steps, she was in a rubble pile at that point because the building had already collapsed. So here we are, zoomed in at 400 millimeters. This is as close as I can get you with the telephoto lens on the Nikon. Coming off the bottom of the ramp there, you can see the rebar that's curved to the left at the bottom of the ramp wall. That's space number 14. And then just to the left of it, it's sort of obscured by that column there that says 1011. If you look at the top of the column, you'll see the rebar in the background. That is column M10. And then, if you look right in the background there, above the cone that's just to the left of the number 10 on that column, you can see where M11.1 used to be. It's like just a flat square, but it's like a cutout on the bottom of the floor. And this is as close as I can zoom into it. I just can't No matter where we are, we've never been able to get real close-up shot of that. And there's the view of that famous south wall now from directly across. This is as head-on as I can get it. So that's as clear as I can get it.
Now in these close-ups looking over at the corner by the pool, you can see a little bit of the 9.5-inch pool deck hanging down, and some of that black on there I'm assuming is the waterproofing underlayment. You can see the pavers from the pool deck sitting on the 2-inch sand bed below them.
So now I'm going to recreate for you in the daytime that now famous scene that the tourist took across the street of the garage after the initial collapse of the pool deck was showing debris all over the garage floor. So the street used to end right here and it turned right into the garage. So this is the ramp right directly opposite us. I'm standing on the sidewalk across the street next to the Big Blue Hotel, that now famous hotel. And this is the pool where the people were hanging out here at 1:30 in the morning. So they were right here, just chilling, enjoying the late Florida evening, when they heard the noise and they all stood up and they shot from right across the way here. Now this appears to be about 75 feet across the way to the entrance of the ramp, and then maybe another 80 feet down to the bottom of the ramp, and then beyond that you have possibly another 40 feet till you get to M11.1, which is the first column that I think fell when the pool deck on the other side collapsed down. Okay, so the pool is right over here, right by the garbage cans there, and they stood up right there and recorded right across the street here to where the building was. Now there's the old condo collapse site, and right directly across the street from it here is where they were planning on renting this space to house all of the cars while they were working on the garage.
And they were really getting ready to move fast on this too, because here is a letter from the city of Surfside. Look at this right here, the day before the collapse. So they were asking Morabito to supply them with more drawings and information, and they wanted to make sure that the site's not going to get destroyed or turn into a dust bowl. And here they wanted them to eliminate the entrance into the temporary parking area off of 88th Street, because that would likely, in my guess, they would lose 2 parking spaces there. They have meters there right now, and they would lose 2 of those metered spaces. And they were talking about, well, maybe we don't want you guys to have the staging area for the construction materials out there as well. And they wanted to know the fencing and everything else. And then 2 buildings up from the Champlain Towers South is the Champlain Towers North building on the left and the Champlain Towers East on the right. You might recall that back in March I uploaded this video showing the shoring poles that they added to the patios on the Champlain Towers North condo. And the number one question that we got from people about this, as you can see here from the comments on YouTube, is why didn't they transfer that load down to the first floor? Well, the answer, folks, is staring you right in the face. Let's take a look. So here I made a screenshot. Here's the poles on the 2nd floor, 3rd floor, and 4th floor, and the 5th floor. Well, the answer is right here. You see these massive, huge beams? They go all the way around the perimeter of this part of the building. These beams are also providing stability for that massive shear wall on the back side of the building. And so sure enough, when you look at this floor plan of the building, now this is Champlain Towers South, but they're both the same in this part of the building. But you can see that here on the floor plans on page 28 of 336. See the dotted lines here? These are those beams. They're all the way around the building. Big, thick, massive beams going around this section. They're going in and out, look, beam after beam going across here, transferring the load. So now when we come back here, you can see the load is coming to these beams, and it is getting transferred down to the first floor through all of the columns, actually. They're all taking their little part and transferring the load down. So they don't really need any poles here to go from the 2nd floor to the 1st floor. Well, thank you so much for sticking it out this far, folks, and for watching all of our videos. I hope this was useful for you. We packed a lot of info into this one, and we will see you on the next one.